So welcome, guys. Thank you for taking out some time to solve everyone's muddled heads and more. You know, what to say? I mean, my husband keeps looking at me saying, have you understood it? And I'm like, yeah, I'm getting there. So, you know. But yes, Ritesh Bhatia, you've been on my show before with wonderful perspective, cybercrime investigator. He's also the founder of V4 Web Cybersecurity. And Sidharth Sogani, thank you for joining me for the first time. Hope to get you again someday. The way things are looking, definitely more than just once. He's the CEO of CREBACO Global. He's also a professional Bitcoin professional, a certified Bitcoin professional. So on Table Talk, we're sorting out the crypto mania, and Sidharth, I'm going to begin with you. In a sense, I'm going to begin with the end and ask you, is this a bubble that is looking to burst, or is it just technology doing its thing and staying one step ahead?
It's technology doing its thing. It's not a bubble at all. Bubbles don't last for decades, right? It's like crypto. Bitcoin first was on 3rd January 2009, right? It's already been 11 years. There has not been any transaction on the block recorded till now, so it's seamless.
So what then is the reason behind the sudden explosion of interest in it? You know, is it because everybody was stuck in the pandemic and everybody just kind of rediscovered it in a sense during this lockdown and, you know, stuck at home with all our gadgets?
So I think 2017 was one of the points where people started realizing that, you know, there is something wrong in the existing financial system and an alternate currency like Bitcoin is needed. So 2017, a lot of interest came in then, and, you know, 2020 just crashed. I think Bitcoin hit around $19,500 and it went back to $4,000. A lot of ICO coins during that time, you know, the private coins, people who were trying to get better technologies, they got wiped out, right? And again, there is a bull run. So that is the reason of bull runs in Bitcoin happens because of the block halving. Okay, it's a little technical and I don't want to take so much time, but every time there's a block halving in a period of 4 years, it is kind of preceded by a bull run. So currently we are in that bull run, and also the money supply index. You know, if you just go on Google and type M1 money supply index, you'll see a chart which actually signifies the circulating supply of fiat money in our financial ecosystem. And you'll see in the last 2 years, about 35% of the money printed in supply was printed in the last 2 years. So you'll see the chart like this. And when this happens, the prices of commodities, gold, silver, and also Bitcoin, they start going up. So yes, there is definitely this interest, and, you know, it's not COVID, but it is the flawed financial system we all have been following, right? It's too much inflation at once. You must have noticed that suddenly a lot of commodities have become expensive in the last 6, 8, 10 months, right? That's because of the M1 money supply index. So right. I can go on and on.
I will keep asking you to come back to this, but Ritesh, what is your take on it? Why are people suddenly getting drawn to this? Is there like a risky factor in it?
Well, I would say it's more like a fad currently because everybody's into it. So I should also get into it because the same thing was there, when the stock markets were there. People saw making a lot of money during the stock markets. So everybody said, why don't you buy? Why don't you buy? You know, and this has been going on from generations, you know, Jyotsna. If you see, there was a gold rush, there was a silver rush, you know, then there has been now we have this particular rush. Even if you see in the markets itself, there's always a rush. Like there was a pharma rush because of the COVID thing and all. So people were buying shares more of pharmaceutical companies. And so I personally think this is more of a fad thing, people not doing their homework well and getting into it. I'm not at all against crypto, but looking at the kind of crimes that are happening, I just see that it is a lack of awareness, and especially with those highly educated people also who are not realizing, just because now there is the NFTs as such, which I would request that you should do a separate show on NFTs, with somebody. So because even I personally don't know what it is, and I will always look at from one lens how a fraud can be committed on that. So I think it's been more of this particular thing, especially, and I can say that with confidence because I know a whole lot of people who actually jumped into the stock market, especially during the COVID time, taking it as like a second income. And when everything was going down, you see if the markets have been just rising, rising, and rising as such. I'm not an economist. I'm not from the finance background. But then whatever I see, the number of ads that you see on social media related to investments, the number of stories that you see, the fake apps that have come out, the fake websites that have come out. I'm talking all specifically to crypto related investments. That has increased quite a lot. I am dead sure everyone over here would have got some message or some ad on, whether it's on Facebook or whether it's on Insta, related to investments in crypto. They must have seen that. They would have, 8 out of 10 would have also got messages that, hey, would you be interested in, they don't talk about crypto, but then they talk about investments. They talk about making money. So that has also increased quite a lot. So this is the whole thing.
Ritesh, you're talking about the fraud, and you've given me some basic sense of that. But what is the more lethal kind of fraud that you are seeing?
Well, I would say the most, see, there are several crypto scams that are happening right now, several, and during the show we will discuss all in the due course. But right now, if you ask me, most lethal would be there are people who are sending you messages. These are like girls actually, but they aren't really the girls as such. They are bots. They are computer bots who are talking to you, and you are feeling comfortable to them, and they're going very slowly. They will send you your pictures of doing yoga, of going out. They will show you something else, that they are into something else. And very slowly, very, very gradually, they will try to convince you to come, invest money. So this is more like, I would say, a honey trapping, a catfishing or honey trapping. Where in honey trapping, they go very slowly. So they are actually going very, very slowly in this and trying to lure you so that you can put the money. Unfortunately, these are not the people. My money doesn't go back to my own country. Even if I've lost it, sometimes you feel, acha, desh mein gaya, it's in your, but this money is going to outside countries. So I have no hesitation to say that most of them are linked to China. So a lot of this is happening, and you will see a lot many ads related to it also. You will see a lot many apps also. And why I call it lethal, because people are getting into it, and Nirali, they contact Nirali, and they are in severe depression to a point wherein they want to commit suicide. So because they've lost all the money, they've taken it from people and all that.
So Sidharth, that brings us to the point of regulation, and that of course is the big issue that is, catching all the headlines right now. How for or against are you for a ban on private currencies?
So private currencies are anyways banned in India. I cannot start a currency as Sidharth currency and run it. So if the government circular, that bulletin, right, the Lok Sabha bulletin, if that says that private cryptocurrencies will also be banned, I think they are not saying anything wrong. However, Bitcoin is not private. It is available on a public ledger. It is decentralized. So it's not private, nobody owns it, because the definition of private is which is issued by an individual or an entity. So this is not an entity, neither it's, it's in the internet, right? So that is what I derive out of that bulletin remark. And further, ahead of that remark, it's written that it is taken for consideration and passing. So it's just a draft bill yet. It's not passed. It's not a law yet. I would like to also add that banning it is not an option, because technically you can't ban it. It is in the internet, right? Even if China has banned Bitcoin, they are facing difficulties in enforcing it, right? Because if two Chinese guys they have access to their Bitcoin wallet, they can still transfer between each other without anybody knowing about it, right? So banning is not an option, but to empower the industry participants to embrace the technology, to earn tax out of it, to invite all that FDI which is going to offshore entities, that all FDI can come in India. I believe regulating it in the right manner is the only way forward.
Ritesh, what do you have to say?
Well, I think I've been hearing too much about banning, whether, especially in the past few years, kuch bhi hota and let's ban this. Anything, then you just ban this. I mean, I don't think so. That's a solution. Just because you don't understand something doesn't mean that you ban it. I've seen people, when the Chinese ban was coming, people were throwing away their televisions and all that also, all their Chinese gadgets and hardware also. But I don't think so. That's really a solution. What is really needed is, if the government doesn't understand it, they need to first go and understand exactly what it is, and at the same time create public awareness that look, there are no laws, there is nothing like an, how in for the other crimes and all, you have an MLAT kind of thing. So there is nothing right now in, with the other countries also. So please be very, very wise about it while you're investing. Think about it, because then nobody once, there's a popular saying that once it's gone out of the out of your wallet, this currency can never come back. With the same thing. So you need to be like really, really very vigilant about it. There needs to be an awareness created by the central ministry also, and even our people, and like how you are doing this particular talk show. So we need a lot of awareness on this. We've seen bans on pornography. I'm telling you, that was a very disastrous thing to be done by this government. It made no sense. The increase in pornography went a lot. There were so many VPNs being used. And what is the result? There are so many girls where their faces have been morphed and videos are uploaded. And now those same companies are not even supporting the government to give them the IPs and all that. Now, of course, they will say, you banned me. Now why should I help you? So, this is an effect of banning. So regulation, as Sidharth rightly said, regulation is important. And of course, you need to regulate it like, wisely as such.
So Sidharth, how crucial is it right now to create the kind of awareness for people? Because I mean, the mantra seems to be that invest whatever is excess, and you're not going to feel bad about it. So a lot of the young ones, the millennials, are just going gung-ho into it. I mean, these are these crazy statistics that says 15 to 20 million Indians have invested. So how do you show them the right way? How do you allow them to know where to invest?
I believe that regulations are important because it directs the exchanges, the industry as well as the industry participants, that those are the investors, by giving them the right exposure, right? So it's, for example, there are these meme coins. You must have heard of Shiba and Doge, right? So there are thousands of meme coins out there, okay, which go up and down by 100, 200, 500, 1000% up and down in a day's time. There was even this coin called the Squid Game, right? So there was a rug pull and it went zero in one day. So the government should regulate the exchanges by telling them to follow a set due diligence process, so that they don't list any coin or any Squid Game kind of a coin their exchange. And if they don't do that, the investors will not get exposure to those risky assets. But the top 5, 10, 20, 30 coins are wonderful. They are doing great work. And the valuation is more than a few $1 trillion, right? In just in the top 50 coins. those are totally all right to invest in, and their due diligence should be passed, and the exchanges can list them, and the investors can get a good exposure. So regulation comes there, right? Because if they just don't. Also, there are a lot of scams, like Ritesh was just saying, right? He's been hearing a lot of scams. So I can start a Sidharth coin anytime I want in 5 minutes and say that I'm starting a sugar factory, right? And I'll start raising money. It is similar to IPOs, but this doesn't require a lot of compliance. So if regulations come in, such kind of fake projects will not come in, right? There has to be a set order. Just say if you want to do an IPO, there has to be minimum 3 years of existence. You must own minimum 2 crores of assets and all those things, right? It should be a profitable company. You have to submit all the KYC documents to the SEBI. In IPO, there is nothing like that. So if government comes out with a regulation says that if you are doing an ICO in India, you are raising from the people, you must submit all these documents. Otherwise, we'll treat you as an illegal crowdfunding project, right? So that's where regulations are important.
So that, the fact that I was also reading this, that the industry has grown 4 times that of tech development in India in the last 2 years. Is this also some kind of rebellion against the centralized system?
See, it is. I won't say it is. It is any kind of a. Nobody's trying to attack the centralized system, but it is more like providing an alternative, right? Today, if you want to send money from UAE to India, the only way you can do it is go to your bank, convert your dirhams to US dollars, then that US dollar goes into the Vostro account of Americans, whatever the bank has a tie-up with, then it comes to the Nostro account of India, it gets converted, or else you go to the Western Union money transfer and do that, right? With Bitcoin, you can do it directly peer-to-peer in probably a few seconds and spend less than $1, right? You don't even have to go to the bank and spend so much transaction fees and all those things. So I mean, people who are doing all that is fine, but there has to be an alternate, right? We are just tied to the traditional banking system. There has to be an alternate which is decentralized and peer-to-peer. So Bitcoin provides that, and people are seeing a lot of value. There are people in Africa, jungles of Africa, they spend so much of transaction fees. They give it to the bus drivers when they are traveling from one country to other. I mean, it's a very bad situation. They work so hard and almost end up burning 25% of their earnings just as transaction fees. And people, they over there in West Africa, they've realized that Bitcoin gives you complete power of your funds. It is cheap and it is totally all right. So they are great. I mean, the problem it is solving is wonderful.
But the other problem, Ritesh, is the non-transparency aspect of it. Is that worrying?
No, it's not non-transparent. It's totally transparent. Whatever transaction I do, if I transfer one Bitcoin to Joe, it can be seen by Ritesh and the entire world, right? It is a completely transparent transaction. It is pseudonymous. It's not anonymous, right? So if I own a wallet named XYZ, you own a wallet named 123, it is visible that XYZ is transferring 1 Bitcoin to 123. So it is pseudonymous. So if somebody wants to trace a transaction and if they find who owns XYZ, they will know me, right? If it is a KYC verified exchange wallet, the government would know that XYZ is owned by Sidharth. And they'll come to me and then they can ask me that who's 123 and I can disclose your name. So nothing is transparent. It's just that it is government inability to understand how this ecosystem is working.
So, Ritesh, then is that, as Sidharth is saying, is the government's inability to understand how the ecosystem is working, is that then leading to the panic of, seeing that this could be used for money laundering or, terrorism?
But then that's exactly what is happening, because what Siddharth is referring to, like if I make a kind of a transfer, or I make a payment, and we are talking about an exchange in India itself. What about when it is abroad? Like look at the biggest threat today in the cyberspace. That's ransomware. I mean, where is the ransom being asked for? I mean, the ransom is being asked in bitcoins. Okay, they are not asking, are the governments being able to trace it? No. And we are not talking about, I am now not talking about Indian government, or I'm not talking about the Indian people. World over, if you look at when ransomware cases are there, FBI is like scratching its head because it's not able to like even crack one case, especially because these guys also tumble up their Bitcoin, their IDs as such. So there's a lot of tumbling happening. So, tumbling is something like the three of us, like who are supposed to receive certain payment, we tumble up our IDs. And then once it comes, and then we distribute it amongst ourselves, or we or we come to know, okay, this much is for you, this is for you, this is for you. So the tracing becomes extremely difficult. I know it is pseudonymous, but what happens is like getting the support. Where do they go to get the support? Even if the money has gone somewhere, I mean, there's not even a single case of ransomware which has been like solved. I mean, Interpol is scratching its head. The other governments are scratching their head. FBI is scratching its head. India, so just forget it only. The moment you go to the police station and they say, look, this we cannot trace as such. So where do they go? So this is like one big, disadvantage. And that's the reason, at the start of the show, I mentioned that it's extremely important that the governments, like, they really need to come together. The way UN is there, they come together, they talk about something. This needs to be done because now this has got nothing to do with geography. There are no boundaries over here. And it's a great thing, like Sidharth is saying, but of course, I'm sure like every government is feeling pretty threatened about it. The banks are also feeling threatened about it. That is there.
Ritesh, I would like to add here that terrorism and money laundering, it all existed before Bitcoin was even born, right?
Yeah.
Bitcoin just started in 2009 and terrorism, money laundering was always there. Also, just see the statistics. The world economy is worth $130 trillion approximately, and Bitcoin is just $3 trillion, right? The entire crypto market is $3 trillion. I think even if 1% or say 10% of that $3 trillion is used for illicit activities, it still outweighs the potential it has, the good it has, right? So
Sidharth, no, Sidharth, I'm not at all opposing you in any of the things. I am just talking at one thing. I told you at the start also, I am somebody, the other day also I told you I'm somebody who invests in it. So I am right now over here, Jyotsna, to tell you only about that one, I'm just wearing the red lens right now. After the show, I'm going to remove it. As far as the crypto is concerned.
You're allowed to go and say anything that doesn't, match what Sidharth is saying. It's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to tell you this, because here we at the show, at the end of it, I think there should be two takeaways. Number one, from Sidharth, if to invest, how to invest, where to invest, in what to invest. From me, if you have done all this, what you need to be taking care of.
So, Sidharth, I was going to come to actually two things. How do you identify the right kind of crypto exchange to be A, involved with, and B, obviously, security of the investor?
In India, there are a handful of exchanges, and they are self-regulated. So you have to do your own research before you sign up on any of those exchanges. However, the top 2-3 exchanges are doing great. But the best way is, you have to understand that if it's not your keys, as in the password, it's not your coins, right? Now, if you, for example, you just sign up on Sidharth Exchange, you deposit 10,000 rupees or, whatever the amount is. And I show you that you have bought 1 Bitcoin or whatever, X Bitcoin, right? And you think that you own that Bitcoin, but actually the possession of that Bitcoin is with me. So I can walk away with it and you're left with nothing. So what is to be done is when you deposit any money in these exchanges, if you want to trade, you have to keep the money on the exchange. But if you are an investor and you want to hold it for a longer period of time, that's more than 6-8 months, then you can withdraw that Bitcoin from that exchange or whatever the currency is from that exchange and move it to a thing called a hardware wallet. It's and you withdraw it and keep the Bitcoin's possession in that pen drive. So it's technically in your hand, it's unhackable, and you have the real possession of those coins. So that has to be practiced with every investor who's getting into this space. If you don't want a hardware wallet, there are paper wallets as well. You can go online and create a paper Bitcoin wallet and transfer the funds in that and just put it in your locker. Whenever you want to access it, there is a private key. Just enter those string of codes or just scan the QR code and you can access your funds again.
There are a lot of people who've invested in it, Sidharth, who keep talking about how quickly they dispose it off as well. So have the Indians understood that, categorizing it as an asset class is an option?
Categorizing it as an asset class, I believe, is the only option in India. Because if we categorize it as a currency, it is difficult to regulate in our current ecosystem. But when you said that people dispose it off immediately, that is because of the reluctance in the regulations, or I believe I didn't
No, I
get
think it's to me, the sense is that, it's something that they're dabbling in. A lot of them are dabbling it in, so they're wary of losing the money. So the moment you feel like it's up a little bit, you dispose and you're out, and then you get into the next thing. My sense, but
that's more of trading. That's more of trading, right? So if you're trading, you have to keep your money on the exchange. So it is up to you what you want to what are you expecting of your investment, right? If you're expecting it to grow, just hold it and see it grow, then you must withdraw it and keep it on a wallet. But if you want to trade every day, buy one day you want to buy Bitcoin, the next day you want to buy Ethereum, the third day you want to buy Shiba, right? So it's your choice. So you have to keep the money on the exchange.
So what's your advice, Sidharth, to anybody who's a newbie who's looking to invest? What would you tell that person?
Don't invest more than what you can lose, right? Because currently the market is in its bull run, right? So we don't know when the bull run ends, it will start correcting. So if you are entering right now, don't expect too much out of it. If you are entering right now, you must hold for at least an 18 to 24 month horizon. Don't get into any small. See, there are websites out there which discloses the market cap of the coin. So go there and check out the market cap. If the market cap, like for Bitcoin, the market cap is around $1.2 trillion. The second is Ethereum, then Solana, and all so on, right? So any coin which has a very small market cap, say $1 million or something, don't invest in those coins. These are very tiny coins. They don't have enough acceptance. So stay away from them. Stick to the first 10, 15, 20 coins. They are good to be with. At least they are not scams, right? They may be more volatile than Bitcoin and Ethereum, but they are not scams. So they are doing something. That's why they have achieved a market cap of $1 billion and above. So stick to those coins, and stay away from these meme coins. It's not a get rich quick scheme, right? So you have to invest and hold. That's the only way forward. And stay away from trading, right? Trading is a little riskier when it comes to crypto because it's too volatile. People with less experience can lose a lot of money. So stick to holding on to the coins. If you want to trade, you must learn how these technical analysis and all these things work. And, only then you can do it because this thing works 24/7. There is no, if you're getting into trading, you have to sacrifice your sleep.
Yeah, but that's with anything in the digital space today, isn't it? Everything
Yes.
is
But at
everything
least
is 24/7.
stock markets shut down on the weekends, right?
Yes. Well, Ritesh, what would you tell people? What is, your apprehension? What would you tell them to be wary of?
So, surprisingly, these are the same people, who know a lot about the internet and they know about the scams of the internet, but I don't know why they fall prey to something which is related to crypto in that case, because the kind of complaints the victims that I'm getting. And so I would just want to tell everybody, just imagine that instead of the crypto, you now have like a virtual ID, like, you have a virtual credit card, or maybe let's take even if it's a real credit card. Now, if you get a call from the bank, I'm calling from HDFC Bank and all, would you hand over your CVV number and the 16 digit and all? No, right? You wouldn't do that because so many scams have happened about that. You have learned your lessons. So now the same thing is happening in the crypto also. So why are you getting fooled about it? I mean, when it comes to a debit card, you're just not opening your mouth. But when it comes to this thing, so this is called as a tech support scam. So, somebody will call you like, somewhere the data is leaked, or, you go and announce to the world, hey, I bought like so many cryptos, or I bought something like this from, let's say, this exchange or that exchange. I don't think so. You should be like, shouting on the social media as to what you're doing. And because of which the fraudsters, either the data is leaked, while we were doing the KYC, it has leaked by the exchange or by some insider of the exchange, that these fraudsters now know in which exchange you are trading as. So they will call you and they'll say, oh, Jyotsna Mohan, your account has been locked and things like that, and you would need to transfer your there is a technical stuff, something like that. They will give you some bahanas, and then they will tell you, why don't you transfer it over here and it will be safe, and you will do that. So this is called as a tech support scam. Or even if you like Google it, let's say you Google ZPay customer care number, and then it goes to a fraudulent thing. It's exactly the same thing when you call up the Flipkart or you call up the liquor store. I mean, today itself, again, somebody lost 7 lakh rupees in an online liquor scam. I mean, when are we going to realize this, that these are fake? Nothing on the internet can be trusted. So whether it is the web or whether it is the blockchain, I'm talking about from the customer, or when we are talking to somebody, nothing can be like trusted as such. So what are we doing? So the same thing. So please be very careful about the tech support scam, and the giveaway scams, that you give me 1 Bitcoin and I'm going to double it up for you. Give me 1 Bitcoin. The how these accounts were hacked of all these guys on Twitter, and including Barack Obama and everything. So these were like called as the giveaway scams, which happened. So don't, just because you see that an account has been like, some big personality is telling you, so just don't fall for it. So it's the same mantra over here also. Don't trust what you hear, don't trust what you see, and don't trust what you read. These 3 things, you need to keep in mind as far as the internet goes. Anything on the internet goes. You got to go back and verify, and then you can say yes, whether it was fake or it was not fake.
And of course, don't let the entire world know all your personal life, irrespective, on social media. I honestly believe that, but to each their own. And for now, Sidharth and Ritesh, I'm going to wrap up right now. But thanks very much, gentlemen, for taking the time out to speak with me, and hopefully some clarity for those who dipped in and dipped out. But thanks so much. This conversation is only just beginning.
And just now, one last point I would want to add, like, if I may, if I have 2 minutes, please. Yeah. So, be very, very, very about the ads coming up on social media. So people are pumping in on lots of money to place advertisements, and real beautiful advertisements. Whether you do go on to Google ads, you will see them on the Facebook, on the sponsored ads, you will see them on Instagram, you will see it coming on your Telegram, on your WhatsApp. Any such advertisements, please kindly ignore. Do your research well, and read something about it, and then only go and invest on the right platform. And especially somebody which has, and also there are many fake websites, and then there are again many like fake apps also. So please be extremely careful, before trying out these things.
Perfect. Perfect last words, Ritesh. What to watch out for, and how you can invest, where you should invest, what you should look out for, what's the way forward. Sidharth and Ritesh, once again, thanks very much, gentlemen, for joining me on Table Talk.
Our pleasure. Thank you so much.